How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Tressa's Collectibles opening video. I'm Randall, aka She's a Cats, and today I am joined by...
What's up, guys? Mike here, joining along for the P3 opening.
And yeah, as Mike just said, we are going to be opening Persona 3 Reload today. So Persona 3 in Weiss Schwarz was one of the original sets ever released all the way back in like 2008 for the Japanese side. And as part of like a premium booster revival project sort of thing that Bushiroad has done within the last few years, Persona was one of the super old sets that did receive some brand new support. One of the other ones in that revival project was Shakugan no Shana, which we also saw in the English side recently getting a premium booster. And then I believe King of Fighters was the other one that was released. But Persona 3 is, due to being one of the oldest sets in Weiss Schwarz, the original set definitely has some of the effects and card profiles of all time. And Persona 3 Reload, unlike those original ones, is going to be having some of the brand new art from the Persona 3 Reload game. So Persona 3 Reload, the game actually came out only last year, I think.
Correct. So the original game came out in 2006 in Japan, 2007 in North America. For those that are not aware of what the Persona franchise is, Persona 3, 4, and 5, the first two kind of as well, but 3, 4, and 5 are really the mainstream ones. And they're all very similar in terms of gameplay and style. You have basically a group of high school students, and during the daytime, you as the protagonist would go around, attend the school, and socialize and make social bonds with people you meet. And then at night, you generally go into these gameplay dungeons, and you explore these dungeons, and you unravel the mysteries of the story, and then you get to have turn-based RPG battles, generally with your persona. Your persona would be kind of like a monster that you... that every character has.
Kind of like JoJo stand adjacent.
Sort of like, yeah. And so you'll generally have a party that has their own personas, but you as the protagonist, you always have kind of like the special ingredient. You're built different. So you usually can just have any number of personas. You can capture a bunch of personas, and that's kind of like your Pokemon team. You can assemble your Pokemon team, have a bunch of different personas, and swap between them every turn.
Yeah, and so in that sense, like the actual monsters that you're fighting in the turn-based battle can be recruited to be part of your Persona team, right?
Correct. Yeah. So how you get more personas is just as you encounter them in these dungeons. In Persona 3, it's you go down to a place called Tartaros during the dark hour at night, and then you fight these shadows, these personas, and then you can capture them and recruit them to your party, and you just go from there. So yeah, if you guys like kind of like the Japanese social interaction, kind of like forming friendships, forming romances, that's a big part of the Persona series' appeal. They always do a really good job with the setting, and they're always very stylish. The music is really good, and of course, they came out with the reloaded version of P3. This is completely a brand new reworking of the original Persona 3 game, just all updated graphics. Everything, I believe, is voiced, I think, question mark. Yeah, if you guys were not around for that original era of P3 and were wondering, this is the Persona that really got everything started in terms of Persona's popularity and why 4 and 5 became such big hits as well. P3 was the one that started it all, and last year they had a revamp, P3 Reloaded, and they made a white set for it. So we're going to take a look at that today.
All right, so as far as the ratios that we're going to be seeing, let's first talk about the individual box ratios. Since these are premium boosters, they are going to have very few cards per booster pack. It's going to be 3 cards per pack.
Four.
Oh, 4.
Yeah.
4? This one's 4?
Yeah, this one's 4.
Okay, yeah, reading is hard. This one's 4 cards per pack. Usually, we've seen most of them being 3. I believe
it's 3 to 4. Hololive premiums have always been 4, but a lot of them are 3.
I think Shauna was 3. I think Love Live was also 3.
Yeah, so there's not really a certain pattern for premium boosters, but for Persona, they decided, hey, we'll give you 25% more cards. So this is 4 per box.
All right, cool. So it's going to be 4 cards per pack, 6 packs per box. So that's 24 cards per display, which is not a lot, but 1 card in every single booster pack is guaranteed to be a foil variant. What is the acronym for the foil variant?
Persona Rare.
Persona Rare. All right.
Yeah,
cool.
PER.
Yeah. And so, due to the fact that there are going to be 4 cards per pack instead of the 3 that we are typically used to, but the set size remains the same at 60 cards in the set, it is going to be a bit easier to make a full playset if you buy a substantial amount of product.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With that being said, let's just get right into our first box.
Yeah. And a case of premium boosters, as usual, contains 30 boxes. For Persona 3 in particular, if we are looking for those nice signature cards, we do expect a case having 4 hits, 4 signatures per case. A total of 8 different signatures in this release, and we will definitely show you guys those beautiful signs at the end of the video when we yeah, especially since they are actually unique to English. I'm very excited to show those off.
Thanks. So, from a play perspective, I guess we can start talking about that. So this set actually has a brand new trait, which is the Reload trait to go with, Persona 3 Reload. Obviously, for English, with none of the original Persona 3 cards existing at all, there aren't really going to be any trait problems that you could potentially have, because the old cards, they only revolved around just magic and weapon trait, and in this set, if there's anything that's going to be looking for traits, they're just going to be looking for reload.
Right. So while Persona 3 is technically Neo-Standard, meaning you can play the Persona 3 cards together with previously released product like Persona 4 version E and Persona 5, while they are playable together, the trait lock basically means you can consider them to be separate releases, and you don't need to go hunting for any of the old cards if you want to play Persona. Just Persona 3 is playable standalone.
All right, so let's get into our first card. So we can start talking about, actually, I think I see another, we can literally talk about these 2 cards at the same time. So these are 2 of the finishers for Persona 3 Reload, and these cards definitely have their issues. Let's start by talking about the Akihiko, since he was the one in the front. So this card is actually a carbon copy of a level 3 Megumi Kato from Saikano Fine.
Correct.
So this card says, when this is placed on stage from hand, you can heal 1, but if you have 4 or more other characters when he's played, instead of healing to the waiting room, you can instead heal to stock. So he can come into play for just 1 stock, which is pretty cool. His climax combo with a door is, on attack, pay 1, discard 2 cards if all of your characters are reload. So there we do see a reload trait restriction. I believe the level 3s are the only cards in the set that actually have a reload trait restriction.
Like just reload, right?
Like only reload. Only reload.
Because like a lot of the level 0s will say reload slash
or
magic or weapon.
Yeah. But I believe the level 3s, like all 3 of them, they require your entire board to be only reload. So this says you can pay 1, discard 2, and then if you do, deal 3 damage to your opponent, and then if they cancel the burn 3, but they revealed any level 1 or higher cards before they revealed the climax, then those revealed level 1 or higher cards go to clock regardless. So, it's a very interesting take on a burn 3, just being able to still stick some of the damage, but at the same time, you are paying a premium for the burn 3 in that case.
Right, and generally speaking, we can maybe regard burn 3 as maybe a pay 1, ditch 1. So we're paying essentially 1 more discard in exchange for that added insurance of 1, if they cancel, and 2, when they cancel, if they revealed any 1s and higher. So obviously this would be a bummer if they just canceled on 1, or if they canceled on 2 or 3 and you just revealed some 0s.
Yeah.
But, it's incidentally a potential ceiling raiser. But outside of that, the floor is still just going to be a regular burn 3 that is fairly overcosted.
Yeah, the biggest problem with this card, and then we're literally going to see the same problem with the Yukari that we're about to look at, is that neither of these can get you a bonus card on play. They don't draw, they don't top check or anything, they don't search or salvage, and so trying to use multiple copies of this as part of your end game can be very, very hard on your hand. It's very hard to resolve triple.
Right. You almost never do it, and if you do, then you usually have to make concessions the turn or even turns before that, in terms of okay, I'm going to have to go for very suboptimal plays so that I can hold a full grip in order to go into triple finisher.
Or like maybe like prep a JC or something into like double brainstorm.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Or it's like, okay, you know what? Next turn is the finisher turn. I just have to push my back row up, and then you basically you're on a very thin, very short leash on that.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of room, and you're gonna need like as many cards as you can get.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the Akihiko. Next for our next card, we have the Kneel Before Me Mitsuru Climax.
Right.
Mitsuru, I would say, as a non-Persona enjoyer, has definitely seemed like the fan favorite to me.
Yeah, her, I think, and I think Aegis is also really popular. P3 generally just has a lot of people really liking a good amount of, but Mitsu is one of the fan favorites for sure. She was my favorite when I played the game. Her and Akihiko, I really like Akihiko as well. They're like the senpais of the group, sort of. They're like both seniors, I think. So.
Yeah, that's something that I never really thought about in terms of Persona series, is like if there are age differentials between the member. Like the only one that really comes to mind for me is if like they literally look like a kid, like what's his face in P3.
Yeah, I know who you're. Yeah. But you know, we're playing a Japanese role-playing game. It's in high school, and like literally, like if we're in our 30s and there's a 1 year difference between us as friends, then there's like it literally doesn't matter. But like to the Japanese society and even maybe the Americans in school systems, right? Thing. It's just like we can be like 3 months apart, but as long as you know we're 1 year school year apart, it's like okay, literally you are my senpai for the rest of time, right? So yeah, you know, it is what it is. Also, I think one of the really nice things about P3 Reload is that they have used the P5 like splashes, and that's what we see with the climax here.
Are these not actually? They don't look like this in the game.
Yeah. No. It's they do look like this, but in Reload.
So
like in original, it wasn't as I think like this stylish, you know. But like P5 was the one that like when you do an all-out attack at the very end, you'll have
the show's over.
The show's over. You know, we are so
freaking
awesome. Yeah, things like that. So I'm really glad that like they brought that back, and you know, I think Persona is just really known for its flair, its awesomeness,
its style.
Its style.
Yeah. Okay, so on to our Yukari level 3. So this is another finisher that requires discard 2, and not only does this not cantrip on play, this just doesn't do anything.
This doesn't do any like it's so strange because she has a climax combo that's on attack discard 2, burn 2, and then
burn 2 or 4.
And then she gets 3,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it's like it's a really offensive finisher.
And stack 1.
And stack 1.
Yeah.
It's a really offensive finisher, but then at the same time, she's 11k base power, and then she gets 3,000 extra power until cross turn. So it's kind of like you want to do this twice, like 2 turns in a row, but she doesn't heal. She doesn't cantrip. She's just big. When at that point in the game, power is basically irrelevant. And she doesn't have a soul trigger.
Yeah,
so that's really sad.
Yeah. There was definitely some deck building snafu going on over here where we were like, oh, what should we do for the gameplay block? How about we do choice pant wait?
Yeah, like I literally built the whole deck and I was like, how many triggers is 4? Like literally 4. I had 4 choice triggers, or I had 4 soul triggers because Yukari's don't have like I'm good.
Yeah. But I definitely think that this falls into a category of cards that I personally like to call the Coco Achino syndrome. For those of you who don't know, all the way back, oh my god, it's back in 2017 already. But back in like 2017, Gochiusa Extra Booster released, and they had a finisher that said, on attack, pay 2, ditch 2, burn 1, gain 6,000 power. And literally for years, I was saying that this card is so expensive to resolve because they decided to slap 6,000 extra power on it. And this is like the same deal. I feel like if you could remove the 3,000 power and probably make it ditch 1.
Because it doesn't have an on-play effect, yeah.
Yeah. Like we've seen other finishers in other sets. Like the first one that comes to mind for me is the Amane from Grisaia 1. That card has only one effect, which is the climax combo, no on-play, no nothing.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty good climax combo for the cost.
Right.
And this could have been that.
Yeah, we've seen Bushiroad's willingness to make actual climax combo finishers really strong or a discounted cost in exchange for not having an on-play effect. So this got just that extra power for not having the on-play effect, which is just kind of really sad.
And no Soul Trigger.
And no Soul Trigger. But the 2 or 4 variable is really nice. That flexibility is really good, especially when you're trying to get some big damage in, and then maybe you stick the 4 there at 3/4 refresh point eminence, so you just need to stick a 2, and then now you can just go for the burn 2 on the next one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now for our first foil. We're 15 minutes in. We're at the foil for the first pack. We have Junpei 2/1. So this requires I believe this is the level 0 top check 3 by sending stuff to memory, right?
Yes. They're on opposite sides, and then they fall in love.
Oh, okay, it's one of those. So if you have that level 0 Chidori in your memory, this gets plus 4,500 power going up to a 9k. And then on attack gets plus X power until end of turn, where X is the number of your other reload or magic or weapon characters times 1,000. So due to having all of those traits available on the effect, you can definitely use this with some of the older cards if they existed in English. But yeah, that's just
outside of that, it gets to what, like 14k?
13k, because it doesn't count itself.
Okay. Yeah. You know what's really kind of just infuriating about that card is that in the same color, red, in this set there's a 2/1 Akihiko that's 3,000 base, and then during your turn just gets to 10,000 or 13,000.
Plus 10k on your turn.
And then also just gives you a stock if you reverse like a level 2 or higher. So
it's one of those, okay.
So it's like, why?
Well, this is big on defense.
Like, what, 9?
I mean, like, there's, like, 9's pretty big. Like, just don't look at Miron. Or Nino.
Okay, let's look at some good cards right now.
Or Memcho. Okay.
Yeah, actual good card.
This is, like, probably the best level 1 combo in the set. So, we have seen multiple level 1 combos throughout the last few years of Weiss Schwarz, where they are a cigarettes combo. Cigarettes being you mill 2, you add up the levels, and you salvage a level X or lower character. And then also gain +1 soul if the sum of levels of milled cards is 2 or higher. Usually I feel like usually those cards are experience, right? I know
so.
I know
yeah.
Bremerton's experience, Shauna's experience.
Kana is experience.
Kana is experience.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Kana doesn't gain a soul, but like she has.
You mean talking about the plus? So yeah, I'm just trying to say like cigarettes plus upside, or like significant upside, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, this Junpei is really nice because based on the wording, we only need to mill cumulative levels 2 and higher.
Yeah,
we don't actually need to salvage 2 and higher. So if you just needed some utility to prep for next turn, this still provides you with a really easy way to just put on some extra pressure to your opponent. Getting that 3 soul swing in is really nice. If you combine this with something like the maybe like the Yuka Brainstorm that lets you top check 2, then like if you can confirm that you're milling a 2, then you can maybe Cypher Precise. But there's a good amount of applications that come in here, and the fact that it's just attached as a free bonus is just very good.
It's a super solid card too. It gains 2k on play, solid power line. It'll be 7/5 with climax. If you're running the Brainstorm, you could even swing for 8k because that gives 500 front. And then it's on a great trigger as well. Door. Very solid.
Nothing to complain about.
So yeah, definitely one of the star cards of the set, in my opinion. Yep. And I definitely have played against this card multiple times, and then they mill 2 clean, and I'm like, yes, they didn't get the plus soul, which means they're probably going to trigger right now, and then they trigger.
Yeah, so it's just going to be like 3 or 3 a lot of the time.
And then sometimes 4, and then sometimes I just eat 4. But yeah, Junpei definitely one of my favorite cards of the set. Okay, I guess C. So what is C's?
It's their group. It's like the group that they all are a part of that investigates, the mystery of the dark hour at night.
I've noticed that we have like the armband here that says C's.
Right. So basically, they're like a club.
Okay, and then we looked up what it stands for before, and then
So I don't remember.
Well, I don't remember.
Special extraterrestrial. No, it's definitely not that.
Extracurricular. Execution squad or something.
I don't know.
IDK, man. Okay.
Yeah.
So this card is on play, give 15. On attack, give 15. This is a profile that has popped up here and there.
Yeah.
Definitely is nice to be able to flexibly just give power all over the place for your level 0 game. Like maybe your opponent has like a runner or something. This is actually like
a
really
card
good.
that is like just insanely good against runners.
Yeah, like if you like play like this plus like a 2500 against like a Millum Chaser or something, and then it's like, well, no matter where you go, I'm swinging 4K, baby, and you just it's a pretty good card.
It's also just fitting that it's on an Aegis because her level 1 combo, if we do see it, is an on reverse combo. So it's nice to be able to pump up on reverse combos to give that extra power.
Yeah. So what is the deal with Aegis? So I see she's mecha trait.
You know, I like totally forgot.
Okay.
I played Persona. Okay, so I didn't play Reload. I played Persona 3
way back,
like 2010. So like, she's a robot.
Okay.
I just don't remember.
I mean, like, there's got to be some reason she's popular.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, meets through to 1. Oh, free fresh. This is the free fresh. So when this is placed on stage from hand, if you have 6 or less cards in your deck, you can free fresh. This is something that I think they started doing in Key in JP. I think Key was the first time we ever saw this effect printed.
Compared to 5 or less free fresh, right?
Yeah.
Or 5 or less free fresh, and it would have
some sort of upside.
Right.
Like draw a card or gain power or something like that.
But they have moved on to the 6 or less deck free fresh, but usually that's not attached with an upside anymore.
Well, we still do
You can do it.
We still do see 5 or less free fresh.
Yeah, so what, like Ayakashi is 5 or less, or is that 6 or less?
I don't remember Ayakashi's off the top of my head. The one that I had in mind, or the ones that I had in mind, were the absurd D-side one.
Okay, that's a 3-2 though, you know?
I mean, like, it's still a...
Yeah, it's fair.
It's still
fair.
free fresh.
Yeah.
And then, by extension, the GGO one that came out, which is the exact same card.
Yeah.
But also Rapunzel from Mirrorverse.
Right.
That card is a card of all time.
Correct.
That is a custom card. Okay, but yeah. So this card gives you one more card of leeway in your deck. I'm sure anyone that has played a free fresh has had those situations where it's like, dude, I'm 1 card off. Just like, how do I get 1 more card out of my deck? And this one is just like, well, you have 6. Yeah. You can go anyway.
Yeah, for those that are trying to kind of evaluate the strength of this type of card, you can essentially think of it as a
healer.
A conditional healer, but it always will only cost you 1 stock. So even compared to something like an early play healer where you have to discard a card to heal the stock, which makes it a net 1 stock healer, you are paying 2 cards for it. But the Mitsu here, obviously with the condition of having 6 or less, means it's a 1 stock healer, basically, because you don't go through that mandatory refresh point through game mechanics.
Yep, and you trigger 3 climaxes with no waiting room.
Yeah. I've got a foil Kikiko.
Okay, so this is the foil of the level 3 that we just saw.
Premium boosters are always really nice because they emphasize quality over quantity, so while we do get less cards per pack than normal, these foils generally are really nice. They're texture patterns, and especially when we put it in the aesthetic of Persona, those foils look gorgeous.
Okay, next up we have Aegis level 0, Chariot Arcana. I just found out before the recording that all the Persona games have this like tarot card element integrated, and so here we have Aegis as the Chariot. So this is Kokoro Drop Search, a card that both you and I are very, very familiar with.
Yeah, so Kokoro being from Bang Dream.
Yeah.
On play, pay 1, discard 1, search your deck for a reload /weapon /magic. And then if she's in the front middle, she gets 1 soul.
So sometimes you just get to send it on your opponent with this random level 0.
Yeah, honestly, just like how the Junpei level 1 is probably just one of the best climax combos in the set because of his extra soul gain, I think Persona, to shore up its overall weaknesses as a set, having this ability to just get free soul it can sometimes be the game changer, you know? Maybe you need to hold on to a climax for your level 3 game because none of your level 3 is cantrip, but you still really want to push them for that extra soul damage instead of just doing 1/1/1 base. Maybe you can do 1/2/1 base and plus triggers, and maybe that can get you over the hump to hit them 2/3/0 compared to something like 2/6.
Yeah, soul damage definitely can just get you there. Like I feel like people would also argue that Azur Lane is another set that is carried by its soul output off of Cats.
Yeah, that's definitely like the extreme.
It's extreme, yeah.
But I feel like the combination of realistically, the weakness of Persona 3 as a set, combined with the underappreciated value of cards that just get sold for free as kind of unassuming cards, like that card can potentially be something that you play every turn. Like, I guess just get in there, attack for 2 soul.
Every turn.
And the next turn play a Mitsuru to get it back and attack for 2 more soul, and you're just like, okay, well, this is putting in work.
Yeah. Okay, so here we have, I think many would argue, the best card in the set.
Certainly something that we would be very sad to live without. One of those profiles that every set wants.
Ricky, baby.
Ricky, yeah.
Yeah. So this is Protagonist Battle Ready. So this has both the Ricky effect. On play, pay 1, collect the top card of your deck, search your deck for a level 1 or lower character, add it to your hand. Very, very great card for the early game, allowing you to set up cards that are really important for your game plan, like your level 1 combo, maybe a brainstorm. Just allows you to set up, and with the cost of pay 1, collect the top card of your deck, you're able to do this in a very stock efficient way while also using your health as a resource, or maybe even boosting yourself to level 1 to actually turn your level 1 game online.
All upside.
Yeah. The other effect of this card, also very important, on play you can discard a traded character to draw a card. This is just a very nice way to get unneeded stuff out of your hand, draw into new options. And yeah, this is a card. So basically with like most of these premium booster cards, they are carbon copies of cards we've seen from other sets. Like we've seen, this is like Kokoro Brainstorm, this is the Kato from Saikano.
So that one would be what, Nora
This
from Ruby?
this one is, the original version is the Kanaho from Assault Lily.
Okay.
Assault Lily Volume 2, specifically. And it was really, really good in that set, and it's really, really good in this set. One question that I actually had, so between all of the Persona sets, the protagonist name is just listed as protagonist, but each protagonist does have like a canon name, right? I think this protagonist is named Makoto. Does that sound right? Or
I think for the sake of like the animes or
something like
Persona
that.
3 the movies, but in the games they don't have names because you get to choose your own name.
Yeah,
so they never established them.
I think I do remember like for the animes though, like every protag has like a set name.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Okay, but yeah, definitely one of the best cards of the set. Okay. Shinjiro Aragaki sees, so this is a spam brainstorm where for each climax you hit, you can salvage a character and discard a card, and you can also rest this to give a character 1,000. I feel like, given the slightly below average quality of the entire card pool, I think you probably just want to be using like double plus brainstorm.
I would agree, yeah. I don't think this set really generates enough stock so that you can just spam these. And the set does have some decent mill options, and by decent mill option, I mean just really Akihiko level 0, allowing you to mill 3. So like, I feel like if you're spam brainstorming, you can use the first 2 stock of those to just be plussing brainstorms, and then if you hit, you can just salvage Akihikos to mill through the rest of your deck, and that's just 1 turn. But yeah, otherwise, this is... 2021-22 players will recognize this as the Kaguya PR.
Oh, this do be Kaguya, yes.
Tap self, give 1k.
The funny thing is that when I saw this card for the first time, I was thinking to myself, this was like the... I don't know if you're familiar with the Rimuru Spam Brainstorm. It's a promo.
No.
But that one is a search ditch. And so in my head, I was just like, oh yeah, it's just that, but it's a salvage ditch. I have slime player brain rot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, you are a slime, so...
Yeah. Okay, now we have the Yukari level 0. So there are a few alarms in this set, and there were a decent number of notable alarms from the original P3, including one very notorious level 1 that
we don't have to worry about because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that card's definitely a card of all time. But this Yukari, so let's see what this card does. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, it's a mill runner.
Yep, it's a 500 power mill runner. This is why we don't play this card.
This card like literally dies by getting breathed on.
Yeah.
It's like your opponent put 3 characters in the front row. Wow, she's dead.
Yeah.
And then her alarm is, if she's on top card of your clock and you have 4 more characters at the beginning of your climax phase, draw up to 2 and discard 2.
Now that's a good effect.
That is a good effect. When you remember it, don't forget it. Otherwise, you will -2 for fun.
The draw 2 is optional. The discard 2 is mandatory.
Yeah. So stop on your right foot and don't forget it.
Yep. Yeah, that second effect kind of just seems to be there. It's like, hey, if you open this card on your very first turn, maybe she won't die, and then she will literally die anytime after that. But The whole idea is that you don't play her on the board. You just use her for the alarm effect.
Okay, Ken. This is that character's name. So Ken is a anti-change backup.
Discard 2.
Discard 2 at level 1 though. So
Yep.
Level 1 anti-change backups are like kind of a rarity, and I feel like depending on what set you're running, you definitely need to be aware of which sets specifically have level 1 anti-change. Like if you're playing a set like Nazarick.
Correct.
So like some of the ones that come to mind that have level 1 anti-change would be like
Recent ones would be like Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man, which doesn't commonly run it, but it's there.
But it's there.
AOT Final Season had it.
The Rogue Kaguya.
Oh yeah, on Ishigami, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. So just a good tool in the arsenal.
You know what? It's fine because Persona players will like never run this card because they don't have the hand.
Yeah. Junpei. So I know Junpei as Mr. Level Up because in the original P3 set, he's on the Level Up card. For those of you who don't know, that is a level 0 event that literally just says clock yourself until you level up. And this card kind of exemplifies that level up mechanic sort of thing.
So he can give incremental power the more he taps himself and the more markers he gets, but then when you level up,
you lose everything.
It's all gone.
Yeah, so this card says, rest this card, look at the top card of your deck, marker it, and then give a character 1,000 times the number of markers. So the first time you tap him, he gives 1k, and then the next time you tap him, he gives 2k. But when you level up, he loses all his markers.
So, I mean, at the very least, it's baseline 1k all the time. So.
Yeah. And then when you play a climax, you can give 1k.
Yeah.
So it's a funny card.
It's not the worst.
It's definitely a funny card. Yeah. Okay, here we have not Jack Frost counter. So this is a 2/4 rest counter. That's literally it, just a vanilla rest counter. So,
so basically, for some historical reference, when P3 Reload was getting designed, we presume, obviously since we mentioned that Persona is Neo Standard compatible with everything that's come out so far, there have been a lot of sets throughout a lot of years, and while this set may be trade restricted, you can still play events, you know. So Randall mentioned Jack Frost name because Jack Frost was a card in, I think, the original P3 that had this exact same effect, and Bushiroad just didn't want people to need to find this really, really old, like 15-year-old card if they wanted to play that effect. So they reprinted it with modern art.
I mean, this art looks really nice.
Yeah.
So, but just a 2/4 rest counter.
Probably can go in the protagonist Thanatos deck. Or it's probably the only deck that can support.
If you want to
the board and stock strategy.
Yeah, and like that's the only one that I feel can really afford to go for a defensive playstyle or like pivot into defensive playstyle.
Yep.
Okay, and then for our foil, we have Fuka, level 1. This is the first Fuka card we've seen. So this is on play. You choose one of your
other characters.
Choose one of your other characters.
So she'll always
give
be
it
4.
2k, and then she has the like front row pants support.
Yeah. So like for like Freerin, for example, if people are familiar with 8 pants Freerin, you get the effect on attack if everyone on climax trigger, you can discard a climax salvage. So this would obviously pair really well with the Mitsuru level 1. And if you wanted to play a 8 pants deck with Mitsuru level 1 and Yukari level 3, then this is probably going to be your best secondary attacker, just to avoid that potential climax flood by triggering a bunch of climaxes.
Although I feel like you could also make an argument for your other front row attackers being utility level 0s that you could use to like fix your position every turn.
Yeah, so kind of just depending on the situation at hand, right?
Yeah.
But it's a nice option to have. Okay.
Okay, hello. Okay, 2/1 Protag. This is Nanashi from Seven Deadly
Sins.
Yeah, I actually think Nanashi was actually the first stock version of that card ever printed.
Yeah, because bottom deck was what we had up until Seven Deadly Sins Volume 2, and then we got the stock version.
So yeah, for those of you who have heard the term Cart Titan, this is a stock version of the Cart Titan. On play, mill 3, and then if you mill a climax, you can just choose a level 3 or lower character in your opponent's front row and pop it. And then this is also an anti-change bomb. And while it can be very enticing to just mill 3, mill a climax, and then just pop your opponent's early play, typically it is better value to pop something completely different and then use the anti-change bomb effect to kill the opponent's early play, and then use something else to like swing into the direct lane. That is what is typically... Well, it depends on whether or not the level 3 is susceptible to... or it really needs to be like permanently removed via the stock bomb effect.
But hey, if your opponent has 2 Kanatas...
then they're down 2 Kanatas.
Then they're down 2 Kanatas for 1 guy.
If they have 2 early plays, then just send it.
Yeah, but it's so flexible. You can kill anything, get a direct lane. Like that mill 3 basically just equates to +1 soul if you do hit, which is really, really nice for the set.
Yeah. I will say though that I feel like in the Protag deck, just because you want to be like playing Protags on your board at level 2, this card sees like diminished use
I would
case.
play this card in every build that's not the Protag build.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then here we have the other
It's nice that
anti-change
both of
bomb.
them are in one pack.
The other anti-change bomb. This is a memory anti-change though. So when this gets reversed, if it gets reversed by a character that is higher level than your opponent's level, you can send it to memory. So your opponent has some important early play that they really need on the board, and now they don't. And this card also has a very powerful first effect, which is anti-move. Just choose one of your opponent's characters. They cannot move that character until the end of your opponent's next turn. This card just by itself poops on standby decks.
He's just really rude.
Yeah, if you really, really hate Nino, you're going to want to run this card for sure. Holy moly, this art is nice. This is the 2-1 Akihiko that Mike mentioned earlier when we brought up the 2-1 Junpei. So this card is a 2-1 3K. During your turn, gains 10,000 power, and when this reverses a level 2 or higher battle opponent, you can blindstalk one. Pretty cool card. And if you have like the Fuka Brainstorm on board and you play a Climax, you top set 2 rearrange, you can swing with this first, and when you reverse their character, you blind stock.
It's no longer blind.
Yeah. Alright, final pack of the first box. We have level 1 Koromaru,
Dog.
the Doge. So like Koromaru is like actually just a playable character, right? Like literally standalone Doge.
Yeah, he's just a Doge.
Kind of like how like Morgana is just like playable cat in...
Okay, but like Morgana's not
Morgana,
really.
okay, Morgana like...
Yeah, Koromaru is more animal than Morgana is.
Okay, yeah. But this is a Shimakai. For those of you who don't know, reference to Shimakaze Kai from Kantai Volume 2. But honestly, this isn't so much a Shimakai clone as much as it is a Zipperman clone.
Because it can give... because it can get summoned.
Because this can be summoned JoJo Stand style.
Correct.
By a level 0 Ken. So maybe we'll get to look at that later on in the opening. But yeah, so this card just buffs another character on attack. That's pretty much it. Very simple card. Okay, level 3 Yukari and Io reload. So this is an early play heal if you have 4 more characters. Gains 1,000 for each character in your opponent's back row. And on play, you can ditch 1, heal to stock. So earlier we mentioned that both of the level 3 finishers, the Akihiko and the Yukari, require a bunch of hand. And this card requires...
They're really going
hand.
into the theme of you just can't have hand.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do anything productive, you're just going to use all of your hand.
Yep. So
it is a good card if we just...
In a vacuum.
Yeah,
this
just
is a really
on
good
paper, card. It gets an A grade. But in the context of the set, you wish it was just like a regular heal, I think.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
Okay, level 1 Protag. On play, if you have another reload or magic character or weapon, this gets plus 2k until end of turn. And level 2 Killer. On attack against a level 2, gain 6k. So this can swing for 12k. Pretty solid card.
And you put the Aegis Brainstorm behind it. It's 12-5 to play 1 coin. That's 13-5.
Nice Miran.
Nice Miran.
Alright, and then this is literally the card. This is the Ken. So this is level 0 Ken. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can search your deck for the level 1 Koromaru and Cerberus, and you can put it underneath this card as a marker. And then, as an act ability, you can discard a character in order to summon the Koromaru from the marker to the stage, and then at the end of the turn, you can put it back underneath it if you want to.
Yep.
And it also has rest this, choose one of your traded characters, give it 1k until end of turn. So, if you just want to have consistent access to an attacker with the Koromaru, you can just play this Ken card, and you'll just always have a level 1 to attack with, as long as the Koromaru actually survives swinging into the opponent's board. Because If it gets reversed, it will go to the waiting room in the encore step, and then it is no longer on stage at the end of the turn to return to the markers. Okay, let's get into second box. So, is there anything that we haven't pulled yet that we are looking forward to? We haven't pulled any of the level 2 Protag package yet.
Yeah, the Brainstorms, maybe some of the level 1 Climax combos. More Climaxes would be nice.
Oh, we have only pulled Mitsuru.
No, these are bite-sized boxes, so.
I would especially like to pull the choice foil.
Yeah.
That card looks godlike. Alright. Getting into box number 2, we have the Doge. We have the leveling up Junpei. Shinjiro. So Adachi is a term
Adachi's a regular.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was more referring to the term. So
Adachi is from Persona 4.
Yeah, Adachi, the term though, originated from the Adachi anti-change bomb from Persona 4. But that is typically used to refer to an anti-change bomb that is on a level 1 character, because those were very uncommon for many, many, many years. And so here we have, now in P3 Reload, we have another Adachi that is like substantially
like way better,
like the OG Adachi on crack, like super on crack. So this card, yeah, very good. Oh, it's the same Climax, but like still.
But check that out, though. I mean, like,
with the foil, we have the frameless.
These Persona rare foils on Climaxes in particular with the overframes, like those look stunning.
This definitely looks super, super nice. Let's go ahead and put that right there. So in the original P3, did the all-out attacks still have like the title? Like this one says like "Kneel before me."
No.
They didn't even.
No,
have
like these are new.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here we have our next Climax. Target neutralized. The Aegis level 1 combo. So, did every? I don't know. Not every playable character did get a Climax combo. So we don't have one for every single character.
Yeah, because I think there's only 6 combos. So.
Okay. Junpei level 1. Mitsuru Free Fresh. And our foil is the spammable Brainstorm Shinjiro.
You know, for how little cards in a box and for how many cards there are, we sure are pulling a lot of dupes.
We are definitely pulling some dupes.
It's fine. The cards that we don't see, we're definitely going to feature, as usual, a ton of gameplay featuring up all these different cool cards in the set. So no need to fret. All
right. So this is Junpei's girlfriend.
Yeah. And
she is on play. Choose one of your opponent's front row characters. That character loses 500 power until end of turn.
Hey, you know what this kills? The Yukari Runner.
Yeah, it do kill Yukari Runner. And then on play, or not on play, as an act ability, you can pay 1, send this card to memory, which is how you get it into memory for Junpei to gain power, to top check up to 3 and add a character and send the rest to waiting room.
Solid.
Yeah, very solid effect.
Yeah.
I guess on play buff 15, on attack buff 15. Ooh, another Climax.
That's the game.
That's the game.
All caps.
The show's over. I mean, they're all caps.
Yeah.
So. And this is the Junpei level 1. And for our foil, ooh, we have Elizabeth. We haven't pulled any Velvet Room cards until now.
There's not that many, right?
There's like 4 or 5.
Really?
I think so. Because like there's an Igor, right? And then
there is.
I think there's an Igor.
There in this set.
I think so.
I'm probably crazy. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right.
I scuba.
About.
Okay, but yeah, this is Elizabeth. This is a free fresh backup. So. Free Fresh Backup historically has been a very nice card to run in decks that run Door or Choice or both Climaxes, because if you just trigger a bunch of Climaxes within a single turn, you can just salvage your Free Fresh Backup and then just use it immediately to just get those Climaxes that you triggered back into your deck and have a good deck state to try to cancel your opponent's upcoming attacks. This just has the standard Free Fresh Backup text where when you use the backup, you can pay an additional 2 stock and you just free refresh.
Yeah. In the context of the set in particular, I think it's a really good fit. Natural fit in the protagonist build. Obviously, you get to salvage anything, but you also blind stock. So if you think you blind stock some Climaxes, not only can this just be something to protect your protagonist with, but you can also reset your deck into a better situation. For any of the other builds that aren't protagonists, I think this card doesn't do anything. You're just not going to have the board.
Yeah,
you're not going to have the resources nor the board to play this card.
Yeah, just one big thing about running Free Fresh Backup is you do need to have some semblance of holding down the board in order to actually, use backups.
Yeah.
Okay, 2-1 Pharaohs. Mysterious Boy. I have no idea who this is. Do you know
nope. I don't remember.
I mean, this might even just be...
I think he's probably like some Velvet Room guy. I'm not sure. No. I'm not even gonna guess. People can roast me in the comments.
Okay.
Or let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. But this card is a very good card. It is a level 2 or level 3 or higher assist 2K, and on play you can discard 1 to bonds to the level 3 protagonist and Thanatos reload, which is this is part of the level 2 board setup that you want to be doing with the protagonist level 3 deck. You want to be putting this in your back row, bonding to the level 3, and then putting a bunch of them onto the board. And then
it bonds to the level 2, right?
Wait, is it level? It's not the level 3? I thought this bonds to level 3.
We'll double check.
Okay. Anyways, it bonds to one of them.
Yeah.
It bonds to one, and you need both of them anyway because
correct.
The 2-1 when you change, it summons the 3-2 from your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So you need both anyway. I'm pretty sure this is the level 3 though. I'm almost certain.
Just double check later.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, just an important card overall. Here we have Dimitru combo. We've pulled 2 over Climax. We haven't actually pulled the card yet. Here we go. So this is a 1045. If you have 2 or more other traded characters, this gets plus 1k. So not the greatest power line, unfortunately. It's sitting at 5-5 cross turn, 6-5 with Climax. It's a power line. And then on attack, if you have another traded character and the Climax in play, you can top check for add 1. So it's
nothing inspiring.
It's not super exciting, but it's not bad either.
It exists.
Yeah. Flexible deck speed is always appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my boy.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go.
Actual
Akihiko, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the name of this person.
I will. Let me see. Polydeuces. I did my best.
Yeah. I mean, like as you were reading that, I was reading the katakana, and I was just like, Okay.
Well, did you know, sorry, off tangent, did you know that the English spelling of Aegis, they actually had to change it because of how Aegis is pronounced in Japanese compared to English. Because if they use the historical Aegis, then it would be Aegis, or it would be Aegis, I think. Something? But since the Japanese they call it it's Aegisu,
yeah,
they changed her English name to just match that pronunciation.
Okay, well, I mean, they've done that in plenty of titles,
Mm-hmm. But it's hard to kind of equate how Japanese katakana size, for these Roman Greek things.
Yeah. Okay, but this is definitely an important card in P3 Royals. P3 Reload.
Royale?
P3 Reload.
Does your dad work at that list now?
Definitely an important card in the arsenal. So during your turn, this gets plus 1k, swings for 3k. And that gets over a fair amount of level 0s. And then, more importantly, that second effect. When this dies, you can top check up to 3, and you can add up to 1 Climax from among them to your hand. And if you added a Climax, you discard a card. So just a great way to get those Climaxes into your hand to repeatedly use your combos turn after turn and put pressure on your opponent.
Yeah. If you're playing something like the Aegis combo or even the Junpei combo, a couple resolutions of this middle 3 could also be the difference between you refreshing with a decent compression at 1-5-1-6.
Or being stranded.
Or just going straight to 2 and then just having 5 or 6 cards worse refresh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, level 0 Chidori.
Yep.
So, is she an early on antagonist? Or later in the game? Because if you tell me that she becomes Junpei's girlfriend, I would imagine.
All I remember is that it doesn't end well for her.
Okay, sure.
That's why she sends her off to memory.
I see. Okay.
I don't remember the timeline.
Okay.
Like I said, it has been a long time, but I do remember that there were some broken hearts.
I see. All right. Level 3 early play. Card Titan.
Cards we've seen.
Level 2 Killer. Oh, this is a new one.
Nice.
Climax Swap. Every deck got to have a Climax Swap in the year 2025, right?
Yeah. Including Persona 5, which now has a Climax Swap.
Yep, Persona 5 can now play this climax card. Just don't worry about the traits.
Yep.
Yep. All right, final pack, SP right here. Hey Siri, play the Link opening a treasure chest.
Baby, baby, baby. Oh,
Wait a minute.
That is my favorite song from P3 though.
That mass destruction.
Baby, 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 eh.
Ooh yeah.
Do 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 do.
Do 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 do. All right, what do we got here?
Do 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 do.
Well, it's not an SP, but we did pull a foil version of the Mitsuru Free Fresh. So that is going to be it for our box opening. We are going to go dig into the playset though, pull out some cards that we think are notable that we need to talk about that we did not pull. So we'll be right back. All right, so we have grabbed a handful of cards that we did not pull. Some of these are quite important, so we definitely want to be showing you guys these cards. Let's go ahead and start with the brainstorms. So there are 2 plussing brainstorm options within the set. First up, we have the Fuka level 0. This card, so both of them, first of all, are tap self-salvage brainstorms, and they can salvage all of the cards within the set. However, the secondary ability of these 2 cards are different, and so you will want to choose which one you want to play based on those secondary abilities, as well as potentially their color. So the Fuka says, when you play a climax, you can top check 2 and rearrange. This can be pretty good for just like getting clean triggers with your non-climax combo characters, or maybe if you are playing the... Wait, we didn't pull the... Okay, hold on. We should probably show the Fuka, the I guess level 1 combo, no?
All right.
Okay, so it's pretty good with the Aegis level 1 combo because let's say you top check 2 rearrange and you see a climax. You can go for an Aegis search on the after the first attack, and then instead of triggering that climax that would have been second from the top, you can instead use a Corone search and shuffle that climax back into your deck. So this Aegis is a literally carbon copy of the Corone combo from Hololive Gamer's trial deck. So on play, she gains 500 times the number of your characters, and then on attack, you choose one of your characters to gain on reverse search. So personally, I think the Fuka is a pretty good fit for the Aegis combo deck. The Aegis Brainstorm says, during your turn, all of your level 1 or higher characters in front of this get 500 power. So this is just a pretty nice card to buff your board. This can also see use with the Aegis level 1 combo, and can also be used in the Junpei deck. Now, one thing about these Brainstorms is that Fuka, because of the fact that if you have 2 copies of Fuka, it actually doesn't do anything extra for you. You can play a climax, but you will still just top check the same 2 cards that you saw off the first Fuka when you top check with the second Fuka. So we think probably what you could do is you could run like if you want to run like 1 copy of Fuka, and then the rest of your brainstorms could be copies of the Aegis level 0. You could do something like that. Okay. Next, let's talk about the Mitsuru level 0 next. So this has the on-play Rico effect, or as Simu likes to call it, super rare shot, I think, which is a Goblin Slayer card. So on play, you can discard a card and reveal the top card of your deck. Choose one level X or lower traded character from your waiting room and add it to your hand. So we say this again and again. This effect in particular is very, very strong, allowing you to discard a card, no stock costs, you get knowledge of the top card of your deck, and you get to salvage, at the very least, a level 0. However, this card normally would just have 1000 power but with no secondary effect. But this one does have a secondary effect where when it's placed on stage from hand, you can choose one of your opponent's over-leveled characters in their back row, and that character doesn't stand. So this is another nice anti-standby card. And the reason this card still gets to be 1000 power despite having the second effect is because the on-play Rico effect is actually traded. That's not normally traded. It normally just says choose a level X or lower character from your waiting room and add it to your hand. Unfortunately, that does mean that this card is not as playable if you want to splash it into other personas like P3 or like P4, P5. But in P3, in isolation, this is definitely a powerful card that you will want to have access to. All right, now let's take a look at the Protagonist level 2 package. So, yeah, as we were looking at the level 2 assist earlier, it bonds to Protag and Thanatos Reload, which is indeed the level 3. The level 2 is Protagonist and Orpheus Reload. So, this is a climax combo changer to the 3-2. This says, on play, you can discard a traded character to draw a card, just to filter out unneeded stuff, maybe draw into more copies of this or more copies of itself. And then when you play the Climax Done and Dusted, which is this beautiful card right here. Oh my god, this card looks fantastic.
And then this is the non-foil version,
which looks still good, but
yeah, it fits with the other themes, but like they went all out.
Nowhere near as fantastic as this. Oh my god. So when you play the Climax, you can send this standing card to memory, and you get to summon the 3-2 from your hand. And the 3-2 Protag has the art that we see on the booster packs and on the box itself. So this card says, when this is placed on stage from your hand, so this can be either from being hard played or by the effect of the 2-1, because the 2-1 does summon it from your hand. Then you get to heal 1, and then on attack, if you have the choice Climax in your Climax area, which you just played in order to change, and all of your characters are reload trait, you get to choose one of 2 effects. You can either choose a reload or magic or weapon character in your waiting room or one of your opponent's characters and put that card into its owner's hand. So you can either salvage 1 or bounce 1. And then you get to blind stock up to 1. So it's kind of like a Kanata adjacent sort of thing, where like Kanata gets you 2 resources when you use her combo. This one, you do have to get exactly 1 hand and exactly 1 stock, and it is a blind stock, which is definitely worse, but I think that having the option to bounce an opponent's character can also have a lot of usefulness in certain niche matchups. The other option that you can do is you can discard a traded character to burn 2. So in that sense, this is kind of probably more than Kanata. This is more similar to...
You have many more modes than Kanata, but in exchange, you're plussing it's significantly worse in terms of flexibility and also just the quality of the plus in terms of the blind stock at the very least. You still get to salvage, but you don't get to immediately refill your hand back up to full grip on your first turn, which is something that Kanata does it excels at, right? It makes it so that even more so, you really need to protect these Protagonist level 3s, have them live multiple turns, and get value off of multiple turns of Climax combo.
You really need that 2-1 assist.
Yeah,
that is a big piece.
Especially since this also acts as your finisher. So once you hit level 2, this is just all of your eggs are in this basket.
Yeah. And what I was going to say is I feel like more than Kanata, this is more Toph adjacent probably, because I believe Toph also doubled as a finisher.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah. The difference is that like Toph has the 1 front attack scry instead of heal. But then you are correct. Toph does have either the plussing option or I think it's pay 2 burn.
Yeah. So both of them are cards that you just want to keep around on your board through all your level 2 game until your end game, because they're going to be your resource generator at 2 as well as your finisher.
Yeah, so generally speaking, if you don't already have counters in your hand, your first salvages will most likely just be a set of counters. And then after that, assuming these live, you just start going into honestly grabbing whatever else you need. Empty resources is fine, just get anything.
Yeah. Which brings us to the final card that we are going to be talking about in this video, which is level 3 Junpei. So this card is a fantastic card to run in the Protag deck because of his on-play ability, pay 1 to salvage a Climax. So you need to have the Climax when you're at level 2 in order to first do your first round of combos, but then how do you get more copies of the Climax into your hand? That's where this Junpei can come in very handy. When you go to level 3, you can use his on-play ability, pay 1, and just get your Climax back, which is really, really strong. Just a guaranteed way to get that Climax back into your hand to reuse again. And additionally, he does have his own off-Climax finisher effect as well. When this attacks, you can pay 1, discard 1 to gain 2k and on reverse burn 1. So he can just contribute to your finisher turn alongside your 3/2 Protags. So like, let's say you do like double Protag at level 2 and some random garbage lane alongside them. Your opponent kills the garbage lane, and then you get to use your Protags that stayed around, and then use the Junpei to not only salvage your climax, but also farm the lane that they used to farm your garbage lane. And then you get 3 finishers. Very, very cool. And just an overall really, really strong card to pair with Protag level 3. I would argue this is a mandatory inclusion with Protag.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And...
oh, you know what? Not this.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely talk about that.
Yeah, we should talk about this too. The stock swap event. So, stock swaps are just always very, very nice to have in a set. A lot of sets recently are getting stock swap into deck, but this is actually a true stock swap where their stock goes to waiting room, and then they replace their stock with an equal number of cards from the top of their deck, and you give 5k power, I guess. For
sort of relevant for this set. Yeah. And while you could technically put this event in your P5 or P4 deck, unfortunately you will not get that 5,000 power because it is reload locked.
Yeah, I believe in JP though,
P5
did get this exact event, but instead of giving 5k to a reload, it gives 5k to a Phantom Thief.
Yep.
So JP privilege, but I mean, like, you can still run that. Honestly, like, the main thing...
I mean, you still run it for sure.
Yeah. You mainly care about the stock swap. That is the main... And honestly, like...
Those are like 14-5 anyways.
Okay, like, the 5k power doesn't mean anything if half of your opponent's board is going to be back in their hand.
Yeah.
Like, literally, just, like, play Stoxel and...
Ryuji bounces things.
And your board's gone.
Protagonist is like 14k anyways. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So, a very important card. Also, the art, despite being very minimalist, is very nice on this card.
Sometimes minimal is good. Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a look at some of the high rarity.
Okay, so we have 8 SPs. 7 of them are... Well, 6 of them are Protag. 1 of them has everyone, and 1 of them is Icus.
Correct. So, unlike the usual where these are signed by their respective voice actor or actresses, something that they did differently with the P3 Reload set is they're signed by various staff members of Atlas that worked on the game in some capacity. So I believe people like the director... producer. I'm not exactly sure the list, but like people that without their work, P3 Reload would not have existed. So we get their signatures, and something that's really cool is that they actually re-signed these specifically for the English release of the Weiss Schwarz set. And their messages are all in English, which is really, really nice to see. We do have all 8 signatures here, so let's take a look at them.
So for the JP version, was it literally, it was just the signature?
No, they had a Japanese message.
Oh, it was a Japanese message.
Yeah,
okay.
like, これからよろしくお願いします and Persona 3 よろしく and things like that. You know?
Okay, yeah, that's really cool. And this is like the first time they've done that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the Igus Brainstorm. And now, moving on to the Protags. How many Protags? So here we have...
Yeah, we have the Ricky, Diki-Doo.
Yeah, so this one, like, they still do, like, their own, like, name signature in Japanese, if like, they normally sign it that way. But I think, like, this, like, Persona line is, like...
In Japanese, it's just, like, you know, the katakana Persona, Perusona.
Very nice.
We have the level 2 killer.
Look forward to what's next for Persona.
They basically confirmed Persona 6, though.
Oh, really?
I mean, like, no, but jokingly.
Like, jokingly?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're never not going to. I mean, we already knew it was in development for years.
Okay. Yeah.
They just have not officially announced it yet. But it's coming. We all know it's coming.
Okay. So this one I notice is the same signature as the Ricky. So, and then I actually think this is the same one as the... This is the same one as the
I think overall there's like 2 or 3 guys that sign all of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
this is a third name. This is a different name. Reload.
And you can get your climax and your climax combos all swagged up with those signs.
People are definitely going to do that. Like the hardcore fans, oh yeah. This is the same signature as the 3-2. This is the 2-4 event counter, rest counter. Oh, you know what?
We didn't talk about the 2-3.
Yeah, I mean,
It's fine. It's very
that
interesting.
card exists in English, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
It's Margaret's fortune telling, I think, in English. Yeah. But yeah, basically there's two rest counters. There's a 2/4 and then there's a 2/3 rest counter where you have to bounce one of your own characters back to your hand.
Your opponent chooses one of your characters to bounce.
Is that what
I
they
think so.
choose?
Yeah, they choose, and then you rest.
Okay. And here we go. I hope everyone likes playing P3R. I have not played P3R. Oh, that's a Doge.
It's a Doge.
Oh, there's a fourth
It's
name.
Koromaru.
There's a fourth name.
Oh, there you go. Well, maybe everyone's signed two twice.
Yeah. I think that this name says like something Azusa.
Yeah.
Shimada Azusa, I think. I hope you have a lot of fun with P3R and Doge.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we have
Woo! Sheesh!
the guard card. Holy moly, this looks good. And they do that thing again where like I always say I love when the foil pattern like right around like the characters, it has like a flat foiling before it goes into like the textured foiling.
Yeah.
Dude, I love when they do that, and it just oh my god, it looks so good.
Yeah. Aesthetically, the set is, as with all Persona sets, it's a home run.
Yeah. So I see in the art we have like the villain or like some of the established villains on the right. Like we have like this dude that's on the 3-2 that we didn't look at.
Yeah.
We have Chidori, who you said is a villain,
Mm-hmm.
and then like this is like other dude who like does this guy even have a card?
I think he does. I think so.
Huh.
I think he has one card.
Let me go and check real quick.
This guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
what card is this?
Oh,
it's Glinda.
Yeah.
Glinda hand encore. Okay. It's a card.
It's a card.
Okay, but yeah, those are our 8 SPs, and as we said earlier, its expected ratio you get 4
4 per case of 30.
per case.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good considering
They are fairly generous.
you can get half of the SPs in one case.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty nice. So yeah, that is going to do it for our opening. If you guys are fans of P3R and are looking forward to this set, let us know which of these 8 SPs you are most excited to try to pull. I just have a feeling that
You can't answer Aegis, okay? Like you can't answer Aegis. Like that's cheating.
Yeah, I just have a feeling that most people are going to be saying these two because I think these two are just like the most.
No, I think most people are going to say this and Brainstorm.
I guess Brainstorm.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least when Japanese came out, everyone was trying to pull for the I guess Brainstorm. That was one they wanted the most.
I guess like really popular. I guess.
Oh, when you have 7 guys and 1 girl,
Wait, 7 guys. Oh, you mean with
like
the
7
SPs.
protagonists
With
yeah.
the SPs? Okay, yeah, that's fair. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna do it. You have anything else to say before we finish this out, Mike?
No, that's about it. Yeah, coming up, we are going to have our usual content, deck profile, gameplay matches, and outside of P3, we are going to be bringing back P5 as well. So we're going to try to see how P5 evolved with this new P3 set, and obviously with P3 itself, going to feature all of the climax combos, most of the climax combos, all of the climax combos, and show you guys what's up. So stick around. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, this has been Mike and Randall, aka She's the Cats. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.